What's up, Ginger Cornets, and happy 2022. I am really excited for this year because it seems to be one of the biggest, if not the biggest so far, for Pokemon journeys. There's a lot of info to share on the future of this series, so I'm just gonna get straight into it. For starters, I'd like to cover some things that were said by series producer Mayu Nakauchi back in an interview in December. The first main takeaway from this is that more Galar trainers and Pokemon will start appearing, which was inevitable. It seems some had been worrying that the days of Galar may be coming to a close with all the focus Sinnoh has been getting, but that doesn't seem to be the case. Second, and probably the most curious of these, is that Leon's true face will be revealed. Now, Journeys has explored some of Leon's past, especially his history with Sonia, which really wasn't that fleshed out in the games, but I'm really curious on what this means. Perhaps this, along with the first point, are hinting that Hop might make an appearance. Considering how big of a part Leon plays in Journeys, I'm honestly really surprised Hop hasn't appeared yet. He would likely be a World Coronation Series opponent for Ash, but I could also see him becoming a researcher by the end of the series, similar to his arc in the games. And this does sort of lead into the next point, that Ash's former companions and rivals may start making an appearance. We've already seen the appearances of Iris, Gary, and Dawn, not to mention the entire Alola gang minus Lily, so I'm curious on who they'd have planned. Speaking of Lily, I think her and Gladion should make another appearance aside from the one cameo they had. They have been constantly teasing the Moan arc and its conclusion, so I just want to see them finish that story already and for them to find their father. Please don't let this plot point go the way of the GS ball. But with that out of the way, let's move into some more concrete information. For one, Ash's Gengar officially has the ability to Gigantamax now. It seems Gengar might be overtaking Pikachu as Ash's main Gigantamax mon, which does make a lot of sense. G-Max Pikachu was pretty cool, but it really doesn't hold a candle to 10 million volt Thunderbolt. Speaking of which, with Gigantamax Gengar, Pikachu's 10 million volt Thunderbolt, and Mega Lucario, this is looking to be Ash's strongest team probably ever. Of course, they've made it clear that he can't use all three of these gimmicks in one battle per World Coronation Series rules, but simply having the options makes this team a lot more versatile than many of his teams prior. But alongside this episode, we were delivered a new promotional video, and oh my god. I was not expecting most of the stuff they showed. It starts by showing 3 Magnemites sticking together, likely in an attempt to evolve. We also know from the next episode preview that Ren's Magnemite Francois will be playing a role, which is cool because we really haven't seen it do much of anything. It seems potentially as a side effect of these Magnemite, Pokemon are growing more attached to each other. Specifically, we see this scene of Pikachu and Grookey, and this does remind me quite a bit of that one Diamond and Pearl episode with Pikachu and Piplup. As for the both normal and Galarian Slowpoke in the background, I have no idea what's going on here. Though it also seems Heracross is falling in love with Lilligant, and Pinsir's not happy about that. Great. Okay, let's move on to the actually interesting stuff. Butch and Cassidy are finally returning. It has been 14 years since these two made their last appearance, and I am so happy to see them back. I had suspected that Matori had basically replaced them as Jesse and James's kind of rival, more so Jesse, but Journeys continues to surprise me. Perhaps this means we may also see other Team Rocket members make a reappearance, such as Domino or Dr. Zager, but for the moment, I really wouldn't hold out hope. We don't actually see them wearing their Team Rocket uniforms, so for all we know, they may not even be in the team anymore. Butch specifically looks like he's now some kind of restaurant owner. And hold up, pause just a second, who's that female Meowth next to him? Obviously nothing is set in stone at the moment, and it could just be a new female Meowth we haven't seen before, but there is a chance that this could be Meowsy, Meowth's original love interest, who we haven't seen in over 2 decades. Bringing her back would add a really interesting dynamic, especially if she now belongs to Butch and Cassidy. Meowth did briefly mention her in the episode where he simped for Chloe, so it is possible. But regardless, I am so happy to see Butch and Cassidy back in the spotlight, and to see this old rivalry hopefully reignited once again. When it comes to their English voice actors, Butch will likely be played again by James Carter Cathcart, who is currently the voice of both James and Meowth. For Cassidy's voice, however, I'm a bit more curious. She was originally voiced by Megan Hollingshead, then Andy Whaley, and finally Emily Williams. Surprisingly though, Hollingshead, her original voice actor, is the only one who's currently working on Pokémon. After a long absence from the series, Hollingshead returned in Pokémon Journeys to reprise the role of Nurse Joy, so I'd say it's pretty likely that she'd also reprise her role as Cassidy. This would be pretty interesting, having the original Cassidy and redub Butch together. Next in the trailer, we see the return of Ash King and Go King, now sporting their Galarian variants. I really don't have much to say about this, though I think it very well could be another two-part episode. After that, we see a dressed-up Flareon and Jolteon, followed by Leafeon, with who appears to be Erica. We don't know for certain that it's her, but this would be a really interesting character to bring back, since her only reappearance after her debut was in the I Choose You movie. She'll likely be voiced by Natalie Gorham in English, who voiced her in I Choose You, as opposed to her original actor. Next we see Chloe performing in what appears to be either a contest or showcase. Though based on the evolutions we saw prior, I think this is more likely one of the Kimono Girls shows, though she doesn't really seem to be dressed for the occasion. If this is a Kimono Girls show, however, I think it would be the perfect opportunity to bring back fan favorite Sakura. And lastly for this trailer, it seems both Marnie and Pierre's will be making their anime debuts. One of them will likely be an opponent for Ash, but the question then is who? Personally, I think it's gonna be Marnie, since battling her will give Ash a reason to finally use Gigantamax Gengar, which wouldn't really make sense if he was fighting Pierre's and his distaste for Dynamax. I am really excited though to see what role these two will play in the story. I guess this is what was meant by new Galar trainers appearing. Next, we haven't really heard any recent news on the Amazon Prime Legends Arceus specials, so we're probably just gonna have to wait for those to come out. Parts 1 and 2 will release on January 21st, with parts 3 and 4 following suit on the 28th, the same day the game launches. And of course, I am very excited to see Dawn once again. The official AniPoke Twitter recently tweeted out this image in celebration of 2022, and fans were quick to note that Ash is holding a Raikou plushie. Sorry to burst anyone's bubble, but this is probably just a plain reference to 2022 being the year of the tiger. So no, I don't think this means Ash is gonna catch a Raikou, though I could definitely see the Pokemon making an appearance. It is in one of the openings after all. And last but not least, we now have confirmation that Sophocles will also be returning to the show, with a focus on his goal of becoming an astronaut, which is really cool. But that's about it. What do you guys think of all this 2022 Pokemon Journeys information we have? Personally, I am so excited to see where the show goes. I think it's gonna be one of the biggest years yet. Hey guys, happy 2022! Let me know what you thought of this new style of video where I kinda just go over pretty much everything. I figured that instead of making a bunch of smaller videos, I could kinda condense everything into one video, and then it would also let me talk about things I wouldn't get to talk about otherwise. And as someone who likes to talk, I thought this might be a pretty good solution. Anyway, I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you later, Gator Taters!